Hello, my name is Lindsay Walker. I'm a sixth grade special education teacher at Greenbrier Middle School on the Silver Spirit team.
And my name is Kathy Galford. I am the English teacher on the 6th grade Silver Spirit team, and we've been co-teaching together now. This is our second year, so we've really developed a good groove between the two of us. So we're here to talk to you about how we co-plan together.
Our co-planning process starts with our twice weekly PLC meetings with the other sixth grade English teachers. And during our PLC meetings, we talk about our unit plans and what our common assessments are going to entail, and we review the data from our previous common assessments.
Now, I also want to mention that it's very valuable to have Lindsay as a resource for all of the teachers because even teachers who may have a non-special ed class, she can offer strategies that they might use with students who are struggling, so it's very helpful. So after we have our PLC meetings, then our job is to take that information and the lessons that have been planned or the ideas that have been planned and make those work for our students and to meet the needs of all our students, so we differentiate that. So we determine what accommodations and modifications need to be made for our students and our lessons. So there's different ways that we make these accommodations and modifications, and one is through our common assessments. We use a really excellent program called ExamView, and it allows us to create tests. We can use a test bank, but we can make modifications to that, and it allows us to generate data reports such as item analysis and skill analysis. And so I present that to Lindsay.
And then I make modifications to the test to meet the needs of our special education students. And I do things such as pairing parts of the passage with questions that the students are going to answer, and I also may do things such as eliminate answer choices so that the special education students can get a slightly modified version of the test.
Right. And then also we work together to plan out our lessons, and we have to be honest that we know that time is very difficult for teachers with our PLC meetings and parent conferences and other meetings that we have. It's very difficult to find time to plan. So sometimes we have to be creative with that. Sometimes it's done through email. Here's this activity that I want to do. How can we modify this to work for all of our students? So I would send that over to Lindsay.
Right, and then I would review it and make changes and modifications and send it back to Kathy and ask her opinion and what she thinks, and we may continue to plan that way.
Right, or we may talk during lunchtime. Hey, can you go and look up an activity that we could use to review this skill and how we might modify that, and then we'll come back tomorrow and bring that together. So when we have a week where we can really sit down like we ideally hope to do, we like to use a co-teaching lesson plan, like so. And as you can see, across the top we have our different types of co-teaching strategies that we use. And we have the different parts of our lesson, like we start every day with a warm-up and our anticipatory set and our activities. And we have a column for each of us so that we can keep track of who's going to be responsible for which part of the activity and which type of teaching strategy that we're using. So I will give Lindsay a copy of my plans for the week for all my classes, and based on that we're able to modify the lesson for our particular students. Okay, so there's lots of different ways that we've done that, and for an example, recently we had taught the students about text organization. So they had to be able to read text, identify the type of text organization, and then map that information on graphic organizers. So we decided to parallel teach for that lesson. So my group were given the paragraphs, and they had to decide the type of text organization, and then they actually had to write inside the different types of graphic organizers the text information.
And I gave my group manipulatives with each part of the paragraph that they had to place in the correct portion of the graphic organizer. So what we each did was take our portion of the lesson and make our materials for the lesson.
Right, so we each decide ahead of time who's going to prepare which part of the lesson. And sometimes we might be in the middle of a lesson and just have a great idea. Oh, you know what, tomorrow maybe we should do this. So maybe it wasn't in our plan that we had originally planned, but we can make a change and bring that in tomorrow. And that's how we use our formative assessments to change on a daily basis. So we do a lot of team teaching together where the two of us are bouncing ideas back and forth. The students know either one of us could be talking at any time.
We also do a lot of readings of stories, and some of the ways that we may modify that within the class is I may pull a small group of students out that are struggling readers and bring them next door to my room, and we may read through the story together and ask questions and pull some information out to help those students while Kathy is working with the rest of the class.
Right. In my group, I might have the students reading independently with some sort of questions they might need to answer. They may be working with a partner, doing a strategy such as the Say Something strategy, where they're relating to the story back and forth with each other.
Bus 30, please go to the front
We're in
of the building.
a typical
If
school
you ride
day.
Bus 30, your bus is here. Thank you.
And we also like to use our planning time together to reflect on our lessons. What worked, what didn't work. If we do this again, how are we going to modify it? And sometimes we'll go right into the activity on the computer and make changes then so that they'll be prepared for the next year.
Thank you so much for letting us share our co-teaching strategies with you.
And we hope you find co-teaching as rewarding as we do. Bye.
Bye.